Are you a guy who is not that motivated anymore? Do you feel like you're losing your drive, your inspiration? It's tough for you to get out of bed and do the stuff that you normally do because you're not feeling fully alive? If you are, well, you're not the only one, because there's a lot of guys out there that face this challenge. And there's 8 things that you need to pay attention to when it comes to losing drive and motivation, and why it's so important for men. It's so important for men because the way we are built as men, we are very much driven. We are very much about honing in on something, whether it's a challenge or a goal, and going after it. That is an inherent part of being a guy. It's built into our systems biologically. And when we don't have that drive and motivation anymore, that's actually a very, very strong caution sign. That means that something needs to change in the way that you are living your life. Now, if your health is great, because that's the first thing I would always say is take a look at your health, because health has a big factor to it. The amount of energy that you have from a physical perspective, based on your nutrients, based on your sleep habits, for example, your supplements, whatever it might be, there might be something going on from a health perspective. So I always encourage you to take a look at that first. There's also, so aside from that, let's take a look at 8 different things that you should be paying attention to. The first one is burnout. If you are facing or getting close to burnout, you may not even know it. You may just feel like something's not right. You're fatigued. You're just not as motivated. You're not as driven. And you're not enthused with what you're doing. That is a potential sign for burnout. Now, if you feel like your body is falling apart, you might be starting to get some health conditions. You definitely want to go see a doctor. But there's different types of burnout. There's cognitive burnout, which means your brain, you just don't want to go down that path anymore. There's emotional burnout, and there's physical burnout. And so it's very important to pay attention to that, because when guys are not necessarily or not as motivated as they normally are, this could be a factor. So watch out for burnout. The second one is purpose. If you are lacking purpose, and this happens for a lot of men who have sold their businesses, for example, they've made a lot of money and they don't know what to do next, or they're just kind of going on vacation, or men who are retired, or men who are in roles that they're not really feeling like they have a purpose, you're going to feel demotivated. You're going to feel less inspiration, less drive, and ultimately you're probably going to feel less of a man if you don't have a strong purpose. So know what your purpose is. Every guy should know what his purpose is. Now, it doesn't have to be a grandiose purpose. It doesn't have to be something, you're saving the whales or, creating clean energy for the entire world. It could be as simple as just being a great father. That's one of my purposes in life. So have a strong purpose. So the third one is fun. You want to see if you're still having fun doing what you're doing. Sometimes we can just not have fun. We can outgrow the things that we are doing. This happens for a lot of men in business, a lot of men in their careers. They just have outgrown that phase of their life. What used to be fun is no longer fun for them. For example, traveling. At first, when you're an entrepreneur or you're in a career role, traveling is great. You're cruising around the world, you're getting all these perks, and then eventually you realize, maybe that's not as fun as it used to be. You need to change your approach and do something different. So if you're finding that you're lacking the fun, which is so important, you need to bring that back in your role, or you need to find something else, something different that you can bring some fun back in your life. Now, if you have a job that's not so fun, you can find fun outside of that. Maybe it's fun in your personal life, in your relationship, as a parent, whatever it may, maybe in your community, playing sports, but you got to have some kind of fun in your life that balances off the not so fun stuff in your life. And that comes down to the fourth point, which is passion. You got to be passionate about something. Now, fun and passion sometimes overlap, but they don't always overlap. For example, you could be passionate about something, but not necessarily have fun. For example, I'm passionate about working out and being healthy, but it's not necessarily fun for me. I'm not exactly having a blast while I'm in the gym and working my butt off and pushing myself past the limits, but it is a passion. So that continues to keep my motivation levels high and my drive high. And the next one is progress, which is actually very, very important. Actually, it's probably one of the biggest causes as to why guys lose motivation and drive. if you're not seeing the progress that you want to see. And it could be a lack of progress altogether, or it could just be not the pace of progress or the rate of progress that you're trying to make. For example, if you're trying to grow your business and it's growing at 5%, but you want to see 15 or 20, well, you're going to start to get demotivated if you're not doing something to change that pace from 5 to 20. And lack of progress will come back at you. It will bite you in the butt if you're not paying attention to it. That's why it's important for you to measure. That's why it's important for you to take a look and say, okay, are you actually doing the right things that you need to make the progress? Now, there's a couple of things that you could do to handle that. A, you can bring down your expectations, or B, you could try something different to actually improve what you're doing right now. And then there's personality, which is actually really interesting. We all have inherent personalities. Now, I'm not one to say that your personality is stuck in a particular way, because I believe that people's personalities can change. You can change your personality, absolutely. I've done it. The men that we've worked with, we've done it over and over and helped them do that in terms of changing their personality. You can do that too. You can change your personality, but maybe you have the personality that you want, and whatever you are doing is not fitting your personality. Maybe you have an extroverted personality, but you're doing a lot of introverted things. Like maybe you're doing a lot of solo work and it's not fitting your personality. You'd rather be out there connecting with people. So you got to find something that matches your personality as well. You got to find something that matches the next factor, which is power. And when I say power, I'm talking about your strengths. Because if you follow something, you find something that matches your strengths, you're going to be a lot more motivated and you're going to be a lot more driven. So if you are facing something, you're doing something that where you are not as you're not using your strengths, you're not using your talents, your natural ability, you're going to feel less motivated. You're going to be feeling less driven. So pay attention to that factor. And that also leads to pleasure, which is the last factor. If you don't have that level of pleasure that you're looking for in the activities that you're doing, you got to reevaluate what you're doing. Pleasure is very important. That means that you're actually getting some kind of positive benefit and you're feeling great. There's some kind of an emotional, pleasurable thing about the activity that you're doing. And if that is not there, then again, you got to either do something different or change your approach so it actually makes it pleasurable. So if you find yourself in a situation where you are lacking drive, where you are lacking motivation, where you feel like you're not fully connected or alive at life or in life, these are the factors that you need to pay attention to. Burnout, you got to take a look at purpose, you got to take a look at fun, passion, progress, personality, power, and pleasure. These are the factors that play a significant role in your levels of drive and motivation as a man. Take a look at all these factors. All 8 of them should be present. If you have all 8 of them, there's no way you're going to lack motivation and drive. If you're missing one or more, yes, your drive and motivation will be reduced. I hope this helps.